Well, hello everybody, welcome back into my chaotic little kitchen on what outside is a snowy and cold December day. So today I've decided to, fight against the feeling that comes along with that by making some peppermint fudge brownies. I thought I'd bring you guys along because it'd make a nice change from egg dishes, although eggs are required in this dish. However, it's a super easy recipe, and what doesn't make the season better? If fudge doesn't do it, or fudge brownies I should say don't do it, then well, I don't know what to tell you. So let's get started making some peppermint fudge brownies. Alright. So one of the things I like the most about this recipe is just how easy it is. Really the hardest part is getting through the cheap foil they use on margarine packets these days. That said, if you have the opportunity to make this with real butter, I do strongly recommend that. Not only for health reasons, but it's just plain tastes better. So, I will continue to fight with this. And we're going to throw all of our ingredients into our saucepan here. And basically, it's all going to get prepped right in here. We'll pour it into our baking pan. Nice bit of Pyrex, 8x8 I believe. And yeah, super simple. Doesn't take a lot of dishes, it just looks like it when I do it because I like to prep things beforehand. So we've got our half cup of margarine, like I say, should be butter, melting away in there. And what the recipe I have calls for is 2 squares of baker's chocolate. Now, I don't have squares of chocolate, but I will show you the hack for this situation. A lot of people have forgotten just how easy this is. So, for each square of chocolate, those 1 ounce squares, you just take 3 tablespoons, so that's 3 1 tablespoon scoops, obviously, of cocoa powder, and you add 1 tablespoon, same size then, of oil. I like to use coconut oil because it just seems more appropriate for a dessert. I need 2 blocks, so I'm going with 4, 5, that one's a little heavy, but I don't mind. 6, okay, so we've got our powder in there for our chocolate square substitution. We'll just pour in 1 tablespoon of coconut oil for each square, so that's 1 and 2. A quick mix, and that is ready to go. So we'll just take the same spatula we're using anyway. Get this nice and thoroughly mixed up while we're waiting on our margarine to melt, which I suppose would work faster if I remember to turn the stove on. Step 1, turn on your stove. Anyway, so I'm just going to mix this up while that melts. Kill the camera so I can go back to listening to Lord of the Rings in the background here. So with our butter mostly melted, here's a look at what our chocolate paste kind of looks like. We're just going to dump that in, because if I had 2 squares, the recipe says melt them together. So we're just going to get all this until it's kind of one even substance, mixing it up. And then once it's all kind of consistent, we're going to remove this from heat, start adding the rest of our ingredients right into the saucepan here. Close enough. Alright, so one of the first things we need to add to this is 2 eggs, 2 of Bunty's finest right there. We'll mix those in a second. We also need to add a full cup of sugar at this point. And this is also when we're going to add our peppermint. I'm going with a pure peppermint extract here, and just the 1 tablespoon. You know what? Let's go for it. 2 tablespoons. I really like minty chocolate stuff. Hope Shocks doesn't mind too much. Alright, so good to go. Gonna mix this up some more. And then once that's all thoroughly combined, we're gonna add our 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Super, super easy. Okay, so let's add in our flour. And that is it for our ingredients. Although this recipe does take nuts quite well, I don't believe we have any that would be appropriate for a peppermint fudge brownie. So I'm just going to mix this all up, and then we'll pour it into our pre-greased 8x8 Pyrex baking pan, or baking dish, I guess. So into our baking pan we go. So thick. Can smell that peppermint combining with the chocolate already. I am gonna love these. Hopefully you will too. Hopefully Shocks will too. Not always the biggest fan of mint in foods though. On that note, if you're going to be creative, throw some mint sprigs into a Caesar salad. Warn those who are about to consume them. And into our toaster oven this goes for half an hour at 350. Okay, so after half an hour at 350, we'll pull this out. Check the toothpick. It looks pretty good to me. So this needs to cool for a good long time, and then it'll be ready to taste. So these have had some time to cool, should be safe enough to test, and the joy of being the one who does the baking, you get the corner piece. It looks alright to me. Sure smells good. Alright. So all that really leaves us with is the taste test. These are, like I've said a few times already, they're a ridiculously simple fudge brownie recipe. And they're very, very tasty. Alright everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this quick holiday treat. Peppermint fudge brownies, really easy to make, well worth having around for the holidays. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Alright, take care everybody.